Okay, so we're diving into something that I think a lot of people find kind of intimidating, right? Like, you should budget, but actually doing it.
Yeah, it can be a total headache.
It really can. So that's why we're going to take a deep dive into this thing called the 50-30-20 rule.
Okay.
I keep seeing that. I was like, popular budgeting method.
Right.
And we've got all these articles here, like from UNFCU and other experts talking about how to, really manage your money. And this rule keeps coming up. So got to figure out why, right?
It's popular for a reason, for sure. And honestly, I think it's because it's so simple. Basically, you take your income, after taxes, of course, and divide it. 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and then that last 20%. Savings and paying off debt.
See, now, when I first heard that split, I was like, 50% on just needs? Like, is that even realistic? So I got to ask, when you hear that, does it, click for you?
Yeah.
Or does it seem kind of tough to make it work?
It's a really good question, and it shows why this actually works for people, I think. Because it's not about, some crazy strict thing. It's more like a starting point. It helps you figure out where your money's actually going right now.
Makes sense. So let's break down those categories, yeah. Because like I said, 50% for needs sounds like a lot. But we're talking about the essentials here, right? The can't live without them things. Rent or that mortgage payment, got to keep a roof overhead.
Exactly. Utilities too, so you're not in the dark. And then there's groceries, obviously. Gotta eat.
Yeah, no kidding. Can't forget about food.
And then there's transportation costs. So that might be your car payment, maybe it's public transit, even just gas money if you're driving your own car.
Yeah.
And of course, any healthcare stuff that's essential. And then minimum payments on any debts you've got.
Right. So it's like covering your bases first, making sure those core parts of your life are handled.
Exactly. And this is where it gets kind of strategic. Notice we said minimum debt payments for now. This isn't about just surviving, It's about making a solid base so later on you can put more towards getting rid of that debt.
Okay, so that's like that foundation.
Yeah.
But now, the part I actually get kind of excited about, that 30% for wants. Because needs are one thing, but life's got to have some fun in it. Yeah.
100%. And this is where I think the 50-30-20 rule really gets it right. It's not telling you to live like a monk just to, survive. It recognizes that everyone's got stuff they enjoy, hobbies, experiences, all that.
Exactly. So this is where it gets personal. We're talking going out with friends, those concert tickets you've had your eye on, maybe trying that new spin class everyone's raving about, whatever makes you happy.
And it's important to remember these aren't bad things. They're part of a good life.
Yeah.
The key with this rule is just being aware of them, making conscious choices.
Right. Finding that balance between enjoying your money today and still being smart about the future. Which actually brings us to that last 20%, savings and paying down debt. So we're shifting gears a bit, thinking more long-term now.
Yeah, this is about setting yourself up for success down the road. Financial security, freedom, all that good stuff.
One of the articles really emphasized having a solid emergency fund. For when life throws you a curveball, that unexpected expense pops up.
Because it happens to all of us, right?
Oh, absolutely. And having that buffer, it could be the difference between weathering the storm or ending up in even more debt trying to handle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this 20% isn't just about playing defense. It's also about going after your goals.
Totally. So we're talking retirement contributions. Maybe you're saving for a down payment on a house or even, that dream vacation you've always wanted to take.
Exactly. And this ties back to those minimum debt payments we talked about before. See, having this extra 20% could really give you a leg up on tackling that debt more aggressively. Yeah, one source mentioned that even a little increase in your payments can make a huge difference over time. Saves you a ton in interest, helps you become debt-free faster. It's about being strategic.
Exactly, and being consistent. Because chipping away at it, even if it's not huge amounts every month, that's what makes a real difference long-term.
Consistency is key for sure. Okay, so we've broken down what the 50-30-20 rule is, but let's get practical here. How do you actually use this thing in your own life? Luckily, our expert articles gave us some pretty good starting points.
It all starts with honestly just knowing where your money's going right now. So gather up your bank statements, credit card bills, all that fun stuff. Track your spending for, I'd say, at least a month. Doesn't have to be fancy, even just jotting it down helps. But get a clear picture of what's coming in and going out.
It's about being honest with yourself without judging, right? Just like gathering the facts about your finances.
Exactly. And once you've got that snapshot, then you can start categorizing everything. Which expenses fit into needs, which are wants, and how much is actually going towards savings.
And this is where it gets kind of cool, right? Like we've got this framework, the 50-30-20 split.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not set in stone. That's the beauty of it. You can really make it your own.
You got it. One of the articles actually mentioned this, like, common mistake people make when they first try this rule. They underestimate their needs spending. Those essential expenses can be sneaky.
Oh, tell me about it. It's easy to budget for rent, but then those smaller things, groceries every week, gas for the car, and that stuff adds up so fast if you're not careful.
Right. So the article, it suggested this exercise. I thought it was smart. Take your needs category and break it down even more. Like, look at your spending from the past few months. How much was just groceries? How much on utilities, transportation? Separate it all out.
It's a good idea, actually. I'm going to have to try that. It's like zooming in on those individual pieces of the pie, right? To really see where your money's going.
Exactly. And once you've got that detailed view, then you can get strategic. Are there areas where maybe you could cut back a little without totally changing your lifestyle?
Like maybe you realize you're spending way more on takeout lunches than you thought.
Exactly. Small tweaks, like packing your lunch a couple days a week instead. Suddenly you've got extra cash that can go towards savings or paying down debt faster.
It's about those conscious choices, aligning your spending with, like, the bigger picture.
100%. And the other thing the article stressed, flexibility. Life happens, right? Unexpected expenses come up. Maybe your income changes or your goals shift.
Oh yeah, for sure. This rule isn't about locking yourself into something rigid. It's got to work for you.
Right. Think of it more like a compass, not a set of handcuffs. It's there to guide you, but you're always in control of where you want to go.
Ooh, I like that. So we've covered a lot of ground here on the 50-30-20 rule. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key thing you hope our listeners take away from all this?
You've really hit on the important stuff. It's a powerful tool, no doubt, but it's only as good as the effort you put in. Analyze your own spending, figure out ways you can tweak things, and don't get hung up on being perfect. It's about progress, not perfection.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Don't get discouraged if it takes a little time to find that sweet spot, what works for your life and your goals. The important thing is just get started, be consistent, and hey, try to have some fun with it, right? Taking control of your finances, that should feel good. So here's to a brighter financial future for everyone.
And subscribe.